Bengals had the toughest opening draw in last week's playoff round. Not only were they up against the world champion Miami Dolphins, but they were up against 75,000 vociferous Miami rooters. So for a young team on their way up, it was a stern test to see if they could keep their orange helmets from being squeezed into orange juice in the Orange Bowl.
Despite signs of outward beauty, this is not a friendly place. Rather, it is a place where visitors seldom come away as winners. But last week in Miami, Paul Brown and his Bengals were as ready as they could be after winning their last 6 in a row and emerging as AFC Central champions. As for Don Shula's Dolphins, a recent and deceptive loss to the Baltimore Colts was no indication of their awesome power. Miami took control on the first series as they shunted Mercury Morris outside for good yardage. Then, mixing his plays perfectly, Bob Greasy hit Mr. Smooth, Paul Warfield. With only 5.5 minutes gone in the game, Greasy zipped a slant into Warfield, and Miami led 7-0. It was enough to bring the white handkerchiefs out as Dolphin fans sensed a rout. A repeat of the touchdown shows the excellent catch Warfield had to make, although the timing on the play was perfect. Despite the white handkerchiefs, the Bengals weren't about to surrender. Number 19, Essex Johnson, went up the middle for good yardage. But the Cincinnati Star was star-crossed this day as a clean hit caused him an injury to his knee that finished his effectiveness for the game. However, his run helped get Cincinnati on the board with a field goal. Essex wasn't the only Bengal feeling the crunch of the Miami defense, as more than once quarterback Ken Anderson was pummeled to the ground. But while Anderson's troubles were with the opposition, Bob Greasy's very few problems came from his own teammates, who may lapse occasionally from the boredom of sheer perfection. And sheer perfection was the only way to describe Greasy's stout protection. It gave him loads of time all afternoon. And number 88, Jim Mandich, made up for his miscue soon thereafter, and the Dolphins threatened again. Two bursts up the middle by the crusher named Larry Zonka made it 14-3, and the handkerchiefs were out in earnest. The Dolphins continued to drown the Bengals in offense as once again Greasy went to the incomparable Paul Warfield. Barraging from all angles, Greasy gave to the winged wonder, and Mercury flashed in to make the score 21-3. Surely the young Bengals would give up the ghost. But with a poise beyond their years, they regrouped behind number 66, Bill Berge, and brick-walled the Miami running game. Greasy tried to counter by returning to the airways, but then a flash of black and orange homed in, stole the pass, and blitzed 45 yards to put the Bengals back in the game. A repeat shows that number 34, Neil Craig, had to play red from the start. And his score not only brought his team to within 11 at 21-10, but it also lit some fires. Number 18, Charlie Joyner, had his flame almost snuffed as he made a great catch despite some concentration wrecking. A repeat of the play certainly makes you wonder how Joyner ever managed to hold on, but he seemed unfazed by it all. Ken Anderson added his share to the Cincinnati resurgence by scrambling his team close enough for another Horst Muhlman field goal to trail at only 21-13. Then on the next kickoff, Mercury Morris couldn't find the handle, and the charged-up Bengals special team recovered the ball. Although the touchdown by number 55, Jim LeClaire, was no good, the Bengals got another field goal 4 seconds before the half ran out, and what had begun as a Miami romp had now become a 21-16 thriller. With the start of the second half, the cavalcade of Cincinnati points was abruptly concluded when Dick Anderson showed up at the other end of Ken Anderson's rainbow to put the Dolphins deep in Bengal territory. Three plays later, the dispassionate Dolphin signal caller Bob Greasy set up and connected with wide receiver Marlon Briscoe on the Cincinnati 17-yard line. From there, Greasy turned Larry Zonka loose on a true workhorse run. Following Zonka's bruising burst, Greasy took advantage of the Bengals by slipping tight end Jim Mandich over the middle for an embarrassingly easy score that moved the Dolphins out 28-16. One series later, the relentless Dolphin attack continued as Greasy and Paul Warfield combined to put Garo Yepremian in position to score. The 50-yard effort was good, and the Dolphins pulled out by 15 points. Behind by 2 touchdowns, Ken Anderson's efforts to recoup were thwarted by Miami's irrepressible rush. Indeed, the defensive might of both clubs was amply demonstrated, as seen when Miami attempted an uncharacteristic act of deception. Tommy Casanova took this one away from Warfield, but the Bengals offense sputtered to a halt. The Miami offense, however, was a case study in execution as Morris and Zonka put Yepremian in range for 3 more points. And as Ken Anderson said, we couldn't break through the 3-4 defense once we got behind as far as we did. And number 36, Lenville Elliott's treatment certainly underscores his point. Unfortunately for the 3-year Bengal quarterback, however, the no-names didn't seem to have much of a problem breaking through to him, as he was sacked 5 times. The Dolphins capped the game with a time-consuming and respectfully non-scoring 12-play drive that ended on the Bengal 11-yard line. Jim Kick spearheaded the effort, but his late-game enthusiasm was obviously not appreciated by the frustrated Bengals. The 34-16 defeat was a crushing blow to the young Cincinnati club, yet their 10-4 record and AFC Central Division crown will no doubt subtract some of the agony from their playoff elimination. For Don Shula, however, it was the third time in as many years his team has moved into competition for the AFC title, and one step closer to a second consecutive Super Bowl sojourn. But last Sunday's victory was obviously an emotional one for Shula, because the coach across the field this time was a man that he had played for over 20 years ago, and who had in many ways influenced his coaching philosophy in life. And when the former student and teacher met at midfield, the honest feelings that live in this game of pro football were never more apparent.
Play Burger King's Win Your Way college football game. With a new game every week, you could win $1 million.
Now back to the show.
In a rematch of the thriller from the season's fifth week, the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Rams collided in Texas Stadium last Sunday for the right to advance to the NFC Championship.
In the first Ram-Cowboy encounter, Los